Salam Media.
The time is just gone 15 minutes past 8 a.m. as we continue with the broadcast this morning. And we are taking a look at the big picture this morning. We are taking a look at service delivery issues in and around the Johannesburg area. And this morning we are talking to two activists. Firstly, we're going to go to Ismail van Wyk, who is a community activist in the area of Riverlea. We're also going to be taking a look at Lenasia, what is happening out in Lenasia this morning with Ashraf Patel. But right now, we do have community activist Ismail van Wyk online. Ismail, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Welcome to all the listeners and the viewers.
Yes. Ismail, you are a community activist, and obviously, service delivery is a major talking point in many areas. When one looks at just the areas all around us, there are major challenges, huge issues, and we see many of these areas actually going down. They are degenerating. And let's just talk about the issue of service delivery in your part of the world in Riverlea.
I would start by saying service delivery. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's an ongoing problem. Basically, I would say between client, which is the city of Joburg, and us, the people. Well, I would say the lack of service delivery is basically the absence of what is required. Um, there's a history within government, the empty promises. Well, within the empty promises, here comes the challenges, whereby people are paying for a service they're not receiving, and that causes havoc. It causes frustration. People go on to substance abuse. There's health issues coming into the fact. That is just a few to mention.
Yes. Now, you've mentioned a few, and as you mentioned, the implications and the consequences of the lack of service delivery. Just let's
Gee,
talk just specifically what are the key issues or the key areas of service delivery that is lacking in Riverlea.
I would basically say, as we're all aware of, Joburg, city power. That is our major concern. And then we've got infrastructure and development. It's basically in, I would call it small areas. It's not happening. But at the moment, I would say Joburg today giving a good service. I know we're on the issue of lack of service delivery, but electricity, that's one of our major issues, whereby government on their website, they would mention a date where there'll be a cutoff, but we don't basically, and the government don't adhere to the programs they set out. For example, they would say there would be load shedding between 8 o'clock until 10:30. For argument's sake, it's always a 2.5 hour interval or load shedding process. Then lack of communication, it's not happening. They leave us in the dark. One day the program would say that time and it doesn't happen. And when it comes to switching on the power again, that's where the challenges start. Then you hear of a incident at the power station, a supplier is giving problems. Currently, it is the electricity that's giving us havoc. We are just not happy with that incident.
Yes.
That's
Now,
just to
just
mention one.
yes. Now, looking at the impact and how is this affecting the community of Riverlea, and we know that the Riverlea community is not a very wealthy community, but also at the same time looking at how this is affecting the community, and also looking at your representatives, those that are representing you at government level, at municipal level, at provincial level.
Yes. What I would say, representing our community, as you just now said, Mr. White, there is no transparency. We we just want to make how do you call it false accusations, but government is not working with the people, and they should be working with the people. We should establish contact, like our current ward councillor. There is no visibility from the ward councillor. He has been to certain areas. Our area exists of 8 VDs. VDs are your voting districts. Um, the council has only visited 3. Well, we're not blaming the councillor. As you know, the councillor is a mouthpiece from community to a higher authority. Currently, we have a councillor that's not active. Like in some parts where there are really challenges, the councillor is not there. So I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to pinpoint everything on our councillor, but I'm just saying if the councillor should come in, speak to us. There is a ward committee that's been nominated recently. They haven't posted the outcome of the how can I say, the committee itself. But transparency is needed. Communication is very, very important. With communications comes education. I'm not saying it's government's job, but I'm saying we the activists and we the people on the ground, we should basically educate ourselves. Government should come in and bolster it. That's the same with skills. Then youth, they should also get an opportunity. We always hear with lack of services, the amount of money that's been stolen from government and the infrastructure they're not supporting. We the people on the ground, I want to say, let's not make excuses anymore. We all know government failed us, but the implementation of certain criteria and certain challenges in our communities should be addressed by leadership. As a leadership, the government, the ward councillor, community activists, community leaders, churches, the imam. In Riverlea, we're working close with our imam, but it's a one person on the ground. It's an organization, but our imam is facing challenges within crime that people cannot attend mosque. I'm just saying, electricity issues again. So how do we address it? I mean, if you go back 5 years, before we even had this issue of electricity, people could go to mosque or churches whenever they wanted to, or whenever at the prescribed time. But now it's not happening. And it's part of service delivery issue. If there's no electricity, how can people go from your house to a venue?
Mm.
That's
Yes,
what I say.
obviously it makes
No.
no makes a lot of sense in terms of what you are saying and how this actually impacts on the community. And just, I'm sure it is very, very frustrating for you as an activist, and also for the community at large to be experiencing this. And the key issue here is where to from here, besides making a representation to your local councillor, who is a mouthpiece, as you mentioned, but also at the same time, when you have a council that is not responding and that is not attending to what you are demanding.
Jibita, I hear you. I hear your question, but before I get your question, can I just pinpoint the IDP, right? The IDP, we know for the past 28 years, we've not featured on the IDP. That is such a joke. Currently, there's a multi-party government, right? And I'm saying there is a project for 25 million in Pennyville. Pennyville is part of our ward, as I said, our VD, but 25 million to build on a place where it's one section of a community and the other sections are not included. The most dangerous part, I'm gonna apologize for bringing it up, but colored communities, the incidence of guns and crimes and drugs that's currently happening. We've been protesting, according to City of Johannesburg, Riverlea especially, our Riverlea Ward 68. There's a protest every month. You can verify it from council. I'm just saying, the more we complain, it's like they don't listen to us. I don't know. There's an old saying, we've been marginalized, but no one comes back and says this is what we can do. The only thing you hear on the news, as far as government is concerned, is the empty promises and how much money's been stolen and how can they utilize that amount of money. So a request from us. We know it's challenging times. COVID has destroyed a lot of the economy. It has destroyed most parts of South Africa. Businesses have closed. But I'm saying the amount of money that the government is getting from the so-called corruptors. Shamila Potoli should basically say, here's the money to government, and government should spend it on infrastructure, ailing ailing infrastructure within undeveloped communities like myself, Riverlea. So it's just a suggestion moving forward, Mr. Wadia. But perhaps if we can have further communication consultancy, whereby our approach to government should be something that we can stand on two legs and say to government, this is what we need. Stop coming with interventions that you feel will basically, we will, how can I say, we will benefit from it. We don't want to benefit. We need infrastructure. The safety of community and families is much more important than other things on the agenda.
Well, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And Ismail, we actually are looking at doing a full program on the question of service delivery with the powers that be as well. Hopefully, this will be on a panel discussion on a Wednesday evening, where we can obviously look at this thing in a lot more in depth and also engage with the people that are responsible for providing these services to communities
True.
like yourself, like communities like Riverlea, inshallah. But for now, we thank you. We say shukran, jazakallah khairan so much for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Accept it. Thank you, sir. Right.
Right, that was Ismail van Wyk joining us, and the time is just gone 8:26 a.m. We're coming back. We'll be joined by Ashraf Patel, also looking at an overview and putting this service delivery debate into context.